We are diving into a seriously powerful psychological toolkit today, one that's specifically designed to help you break out of those frustrating negative cycles once and for all. Look, if you've ever felt like you're just stuck on a hamster wheel, constantly slamming into the same invisible walls over and over again, well, you are in the exact right place. We're going to take some deeply profound concepts and translate them into a highly practical, actionable strategy.
But hey, before we get too deep into the weeds, I want you to pause for just a quick second. Seriously, check your exact inner speech right at this very moment. What is that little voice inside your head whispering to you? Are you criticizing yourself, maybe doubting something, anticipating some problem that hasn't even happened yet? I'm asking you this because, as we're going to see throughout this explainer, that silent and honestly often completely ignored internal dialogue, it is actively and continuously shaping your actual physical reality.
The absolute pioneer who mapped all of this out was Neville Goddard. He was an incredibly profound thinker of the 20th century, and today our goal is to completely demystify his esoteric teachings. We are not just going to talk about high-level philosophy here. We're breaking his core ideas down into a precise, step-by-step internal technology that you can literally start using today to rewire your entire consciousness.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the invisible trap.
Goddard argues this beautifully radical premise. Our current limiting assumptions act exactly like a cage. According to the source material, he states that the world is your objectified consciousness. Think about what that actually means. The conditions of your life right now, your finances, your relationships, your daily struggles, they're simply a state of consciousness that you've blindly accepted and then projected outward into the physical world. Your external world is really nothing more than a giant mirror reflecting your most deeply held internal assumptions.
Which brings us to Section 2. Uncritical self-observation.
This whole concept actually traces all the way back to ancient wisdom from the Hermetica, which Goddard drew upon quite frequently. It states, life is the union of word and mind. Just let that sink in for a minute. Your everyday circumstances, they aren't just random accidents or bad luck. They are literally your inner speech, your internal word, exteriorized and solidified into fact. The quiet conversations you constantly have with yourself are the literal building blocks of your life.
As the sources so perfectly put it, your inner speech cooks in the dark and comes out into the light. If you can just start observing your mechanical, negative internal dialogues without judging them, just watch them neutrally, like a scientist observing a chemical reaction, you are going to discover something pretty staggering. You'll see that those exact complaints and fears you whisper to yourself are the exact blueprints for tomorrow's reality. You are constantly, day in and day out, prophesying your own future.
All right, moving on to Section 3, the art of detachment.
This is a very specific sequential process to break the cycle. First, you have to catch your reflex reaction to a daily disaster or annoyance. Second, you immediately formulate your actual goal. What do you want instead? Third, you separate yourself from that negative emotion. Don't fight it, just gracefully detach your attention right off of it. And fourth, attach your attention entirely to your ultimate goal, feeling as if it were already accomplished. It's about moving your psychological self from where you are to where you want to be.
To really drive this home, Goddard uses a powerful biblical metaphor. He says you must release Barabbas. Now, Barabbas represents your old man, your current limiting concept of self, the identity packed with all those doubts and fears. You absolutely have to let that old identity go in order to psychologically give birth to the new man, which is the full embodiment of your wish fulfilled. You simply cannot drag your old baggage into your new reality.
And that leads us straight into Section 4, the 7-day mental diet. Think about it like this. You wouldn't eat greasy fast food all day and somehow expect to be in peak physical health, right? In the same way, you cannot do a little 5-minute morning meditation, follow it up with an entire afternoon of silently cursing your circumstances, and expect to build a positive life. A mental diet is a strict psychological regimen. You are completely replacing all of that negative inner speech with constructive internal dialogue. And the key here? This dialogue must be based entirely on the premise that your desire is already fulfilled.
So here is the exact protocol, and it's absolutely crucial. First, you must completely stop all mechanical negative inner speech. Every single time you catch it, you cut it off immediately. Instead, you initiate constructive internal dialogue. Pulling from Philippians here, you must think only of what is true, honorable, just, and pure. You have to persist in this strictly, no cheating, not a single exception, for a full 7 days. And perhaps most importantly, you have to maintain this feeling of the wish fulfilled right up until the moment you drift off to sleep. You are completely changing your mental food.
Finally, let's look at Section 5, embodying the new self. According to the sources, the way you truly anchor this is by quieting your physical body and completely shutting the door to your senses. You have to ignore what the outside world is screaming at you. You sink into the expanded I am state. This is that formless, faceless consciousness deep, deep within you. It's the very core of your being where you are simply aware that you exist, long before you attach any limitations to it like, I am poor or I am sick. In this formless deep, all things become divinely possible.
When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled in this incredibly deep state, something pretty mind-blowing happens. Look, even if this new assumption feels totally, completely false at first, because it wildly contradicts your current physical reality, your persistence will literally force it to harden into fact in your outer world. You are actively taking absolute control of your reality from the inside out.
The ultimate promise of this entire methodology boils down to this brilliant concept. Through an assumption, you hurry without hurrying and reach your goal without toil. True personal transformation isn't about exhausting, miserable physical effort. It's not about fighting the external world. It is entirely about psychological alignment and the immense, almost unbelievable power of focused, sustained attention.
So, I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative challenge today. Are you actually truly ready to change your mental food? Begin observing your inner speech right now, the exact second this explainer ends. Commit to the 7-day mental diet. Stop the negative mechanical chatter, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and just watch what incredible, effortless changes start unfolding in your world by next week. You hold the key.